Greetings. Well, putting in new hatch struts. Yeah. So, yeah, and these are the correct ones. Yeah, so what I have been getting are these Stabilis Electro lifts. Oh, let's get the camera to focus on that here. Yeah, that sounds good, huh? There we go. So they're pretty nice. There's the part numbers on these guys. That's also the part number. These are available from O'Reilly's and Rock Auto. If you get them from O'Reilly's, they'll ship to home the next day or a couple days later, something like that. You know, COVID shipping and expensive shipping right now. So it was a 2 or 3 day wait on these, but still, that was pretty good. But they are spendy suckers. And I opted for the very nice ones. These guys supposedly, each one is capable of lifting 95 pounds. So we'll put that to the test after I install these. Now, I had already went and I had swapped this one over from the factory. I'll pull you out a fresh one here. So hold on. Okay, so from the factory here, you can see that they come with, they're the double eyelet style. And that's no bueno because the factory EXP ones have an actual eyelet hole in one end that wraps around a bolt, and then at the small end they do take an actual little ball socket eyelet. So that's the style that you have to convert these to. So let's start by how to remove these guys. Well, you can see I have a handy dandy hydraulics clamp made for things like hoods and hatches, so that's what I'm using it for. It's pretty nice. You stick it in there after you have this lifted up fully. I put like my shoulder under this part, and standing like this, I have this kind of view. Tighten it up until it's really tight, and then walk away slowly. Make sure it doesn't come slamming down. But otherwise, having a 2x4 under this guy is a really wise idea. But then once you do that, once the weight is off of these critters, you're able to take a T40 Torex bit to these guys. Again, these are what go into the hatch, not the car itself. So it'll be in here like so, just like it is over there. And then the other end will pop out pretty easily. So once you remove this, all that will remain is the eyelet insert thing, and then the rubber grommet bushing that goes inside of it. So we'll set that down. And then what goes on the other end is this. And I did remove the clip prior to this video, so I'll grab that for you. This is the clip as aforementioned. And how these get assembled is as follows. You just stick to the two ends inside the channel, and then it'll slide back and forth within this channel, and then he'll lock over the end, much like the new ones do. Exactly the same way the new ones do. So that's how you do it. And then how you pry it off is, you can see there's a couple channels in here. So what you do is you take a smaller medium screwdriver, you stick it in from the back side, and what you do is you pry up on this guy. You'll release it some from the channel, and then you just slowly manipulate it forward. And then there's a few tricks to that, because you have to lift this up, and then that splays the fangs at the bottom here, and then that allows it to slide off the rest of this rounded eyelet fitting. And then once you do that, it's pretty much golden. From there, you're able to put the new ones in, and the new ones go in quite nice and easy. Now, since the new ones they don't have the same end over here. See, they have that. The new ones come with this instead of that. This is what you need, but the new ones have this. So what you have to do is remove the old eyelet from the old struts. So I do have an old strut here, and it removes quite easily. All you have to do is do what you would do for this end. It's the same process. So here's how you go about it. You stick a screwdriver underneath this tab here. Oops. And by sticking it underneath this black tab, not the silver one, but under this black tab, you're able to pry it out. Once you pry it out, this is that black tab. And this guy has a little, it's actually a type of circlip, and it locks around this down here. So once you yank this out, the whole end's just able to come sliding right off. And now there's your stock eyelet removed from your old strut. Now you can hold on to this for parts. As you can see, this one's got a connector for the defrost, so I might leave that there. Or I'll actually take that off and I'll put that in safekeeping. And the other end, I can remove this eyelet too if I want to, or need the tagging for whatever reason. Anyhow, not too important. I actually don't need the rest, so I'm not concerned about it. Keeping these metal clips is sometimes handy, but you don't have to. Once you do that, you're now ready to set up the new shocks. So with the new ones, you'll be replacing the big end, your end that's on the larger half of the strut. And all you have to do with these guys is just grab them with a pair of pliers and then unthread them. Lefty loosey gets these guys off. They're simply threaded on. I can actually do it to this one real quick, so let me bust it free with some pliers and then I'll show you. Okay, so I quick loosened it with some pliers and now I'm able to unthread it. You can see there's now a threaded end. And all I have to do for the new one is, well, we'll leave this metal tang here because the old one won't really work for us. So we'll leave the new one because that's handy. But then the old one, it'll just thread right on. It'll be a little bit of an interference because you're cutting threads into this guy. So you'll be cutting threads into this plastic eyelet. But once you do that, it's plenty rigid. I did that with my Blue Car many years ago, and it's still holding up great. So really, that's all you have to do that. And then you just reinstall. Yep, and then you do have to do a little bit of prep to these guys. Like I said, you do have to pry out these clips, and you don't want to pop them out completely. You pop them out completely, there's sometimes a chore to get back in, but you want them half off. So let me pause the camera, I'll do that real quick. Okay, so there we are. So you want it just like so. If we look into the receiving end of the eyelet, you can see that the locking tangs are no longer present. It's because I have them slid off, thrown away, and you know you have it right when you look down here and you see a big old gap. That means that you have this guy properly sprayed apart, and it's on the end. It's not going to fall off because you don't have it too far towards the end, and it's not going to fall back into its groove because you don't have it sitting close enough near it. So now, what we can do is we'll set the small end in, and we'll show you how easy it is to snap it in. So we just set in the hole like so. Sneak this plastic tab or metal clip back. You heard it click, it locked. Now it's not coming out. Set this here for now. Now from this point forward, once you put this eyelet on, you don't want to be twisting this end. You want to be grabbing the housing to twist it, okay? That keeps you from unthreading this, damaging the threads, etc., etc. I'll set that there for now. Now it's time to grab our Torx bolt. There we go. I don't want my new strut rolling away on me. So we'll grab this here, and we'll put it partially in, just like this. So then we're still able to thread it in. Now, I don't have the hatch high enough, so I'll have to lift it up a little bit higher, then I can thread this in. So I'll do that real quick and show you the finished product. All right, so there we go. Now it is freestanding. So you can see that these struts actually work. And they work quite well. And again, these are the same exact ones for the notch backs. It doesn't matter if you have an LN7 or any year of EXP. These are going to be exactly the same. And as you can see, it closes nice and gently. I can close it with my thumb. It comes down. I'm not going to latch it because otherwise I'll have to use the key to unlock it. But down all the way, I can pick it back up. And you do sadly have to assist it. And I've I've noticed that sometimes. I don't believe it's a strut quality thing. I believe they have to be pumped a few times, and then they start working on their own quite well. Because that was the case with my blue one. Was after I had pumped it about half a dozen times, it started going up on its own, and it won't go all the way up, perfectly. Normally it'll stop about here, so then you always have to lift it, the last 3-4 inches, no problem. But it holds itself up, and that's the critical thing. That's why we're here. But yeah, that's about all there is to it. And the process is similar for the Escorts. The nice thing with the Escorts is they actually take the double eyelet style. So they got one of these on both ends of the struts. I think on all of the 80s Escorts anyways. I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure they're that way. So they should all be easier, but do keep an eye out for a video on those. When I do those, I'll have a link for that video in the description, and I'll have this video's link in that description. And yes, like I said, I'll take measurements of these guys some days so that you guys have them. That way, in case they stop making these, or you want a different brand of them, you have access to those, because that's all you need. Is you just need the measurements, the collapsed height, length, and the extended length. And between those two, you can do pretty much anything with these. But yes, now we're ready to go. We don't need to be carrying around the embarrassing 2x4 prop rod or other ugly things, alternatives. So yeah, that's all for now. So I'll just let you guys go, and we'll catch you on the flip side.